A lot of people use the terms silent treatment and stonewalling like they mean the same thing, but they're actually very different. The biggest difference is intention. The silent treatment is about withholding or weaponizing love. It's intentional. Communication is being pulled away to punish, control, or create anxiety in the other person. There's an unspoken message of, you don't get access to me right now. And for someone with attachment wounds, especially anxious ones, that can feel incredibly destabilizing because connection is being used as leverage. And I'll be really honest, I've done this before, and I've also had it done to me. For me, this was a learned behavior. I learned at a very young age that when you were angry at someone, you stopped talking to them. And then eventually you would talk again, but there was rarely, if ever, any apologies or repair. But once I became aware of it, I couldn't unsee it. And I made a commitment to do better because I could feel how much it hurt on both sides. And I also want to say this. The silent treatment can become emotionally abusive when it's used as a pattern to punish or control. Because at that point, connection is being used as leverage, and that creates real emotional harm. Now, stonewalling looks really similar on the outside, but the energy underneath it is completely different. Stonewalling is usually a nervous system shutdown. The person is overwhelmed, flooded, and doesn't have the capacity to stay present. So they go quiet, they disengage, they check out. Not to control you, but to regulate themselves. Think of it like they are building a stone wall between you and them for protection. And again, I've been here too. As someone with a healing, fearful, avoidant attachment style, there were moments when I wasn't trying to hurt anyone. I was just completely overwhelmed. My system would shut down, and I literally didn't have access to words, clarity, or connection in that moment. For a large majority of my life, if conflict arose, I would shut down. My sympathetic system would kick in and I would go into freeze mode. I had learned too that sometimes it was better to keep my mouth shut. So again, this was a reaction that was rooted in my fearful avoidant attachment. It triggered my anxious core wounds of feeling unsafe, helpless, and powerless. And it also triggered my avoidant core wounds of feeling like I am bad or defective. So externally, both look like silence, but internally, one is about withholding connection, and the other is about losing capacity. When you look at this through an attachment lens, it starts to click. And when you grow up with inconsistent love, where connection feels unpredictable, it makes sense that your system learns both patterns. You learn to reach for connection, but you also learn to protect yourself from it. And this is where the cycle gets really painful. One person experiences the silence as rejection and starts to pursue, seek reassurance, or escalate. The other person experiences that pursuit as pressure and overwhelm and shuts down even more. And now you're stuck in that pursue-withdrawal loop that reinforces both people's core wounds. So instead of just labeling it as they're ignoring me or they don't care, it's more useful to get curious about what's actually happening underneath. Is this silence being used to control or punish? Or is this a nervous system that's overwhelmed and needs space to come back online? Because those require completely different responses and different boundaries. And if your partner is giving you the silent treatment, the answer is not to chase harder, beg for connection, or abandon yourself trying to get them to talk to you. You can communicate clearly and directly. You can say something like, I'm open to having this conversation when we both can communicate respectfully, but I'm not okay with being shut out or punished. Because healthy space and emotional punishment are not the same thing. And one of the most important parts of healing attachment wounds is learning to not lose yourself trying to earn consistency from someone who is withholding it. Now, if someone is genuinely overwhelmed and asking for space to regulate, that's different. Secure relationships allow room for pauses, but there's still communication, reassurance, and eventually repair. Even something as simple as, I'm feeling overwhelmed right now and I need some space, but I care about you and we will come back to this conversation, can completely change how safe the interaction feels for both people. And honestly, these moments matter more than people realize. The way couples handle space, reassurance, and repair can completely shape the emotional safety of a relationship. The goal is not constant communication every second. The goal is emotional safety, clarity, and repair after conflict. And if you're the one going quiet, the question becomes, am I withholding to send a message, or am I shutting down because I'm overwhelmed? For me, that awareness changed everything, because once I knew better, I could do better. And that's really what healing is. Not being perfect, but being conscious enough to choose differently. If you saw yourself in any part of this, you're not alone. These patterns are learned, which means they can be unlearned. If you want support with that, you can go to my website and schedule a free consultation. And if you're on your own healing journey, stay with me. There's a lot more coming.